let's talk about stimulus. So the big question, can Rob Portman seal the bipartisan deal? Look, Congress has really proven to be an absolute disaster, haven't they? I mean, listen to this. Democrats begged you for votes. Elect us, and you'll get your $2,000 stimulus checks next week, right? Elect us, and we'll pass gun reform legislation. Elect us, and we'll fix our broken voting system that disproportionately screws over people of color in the United States. Well, it's been now 6 months. It's the last Wednesday of July, folks. Can you believe that? We're already approaching August. And Congress has not passed a police reform bill, a budget resolution bill, an appropriations bill, an infrastructure bill, a voting rights bill, or a gun control bill. And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's big USICA bill, was aimed at the rise of China, going after China as the new boogeyman around the world, is going nowhere in the House of Representatives at the moment. So what about stimulus? Is there any hope for that? Will we or won't we get a stimulus package? Senator Rob Portman, all eyes on him right now. He and White House counselor Steve Ricchetti. It sounds like a type of Parmesan cheese, doesn't it? Like, I'll have some more Ricchetti.
I would eat that.
Do you think it's Ricchetti or Ricchetti?
I'm looking for that.
Ricchetti. Richietty.
I'd say Ricchetti.
Ricchetti?
Or maybe Ricchetti. It's hard to say.
Like bruschetta.
What's the country of origin? You just need to know that, and it'll tell you
that's all
everything you need to know.
Exactly. So Steve Ricchetti spent hours yesterday with Rob Portman, all through the evening last night, talking about stimulus, negotiating the latest on the stimulus plan. And if you, right now, according to Politico this morning, former White House budget chief and the leader of the Republican Party, Mitch McConnell, they're trying to see right now if they can actually get this thing done. They worked all through the night. They did not clinch an agreement just yet. He says, Rob Portman is finding it hard to clinch an agreement, no matter how much inside savvy he brings as the lead GOP infrastructure negotiator. Even if an infrastructure bill can be written, Portman still must shepherd it across the floor to President Joe Biden's desk amid attacks from his own party. So right now, the bipartisan group of senators are at a total impasse right now. They cannot get this done. You had reporters there for hours last night outside, and they literally didn't even take a break for dinner. So Rob Portman and Steve Ricchetti were meeting all through the night, and they're basically trying to hammer this out without even eating. They didn't even take a food break. They just stayed in the office for hours. And I love how the press is we got to hand it to these guys. These guys have been working through the night. Yeah, but you also just had 2 vacations back to back. So good on you that you're working hard. I'm sorry, I have no empathy for you whatsoever that you have to put in the long hours. You just came off 2 vacations back to back. And the reason you're working so hard is because you want your August vacation intact. On top of that, he says, we're physically sitting down and trying to work out these issues, but we're both checking back with our respective groups right now. And right now, they're Senate Democrats still question whether they can get this $600 billion in new spending across the table. Several of Portman's colleagues in the majority privately are criticizing all of this, saying we shouldn't be negotiating with Democrats. Debbie Stabenow from Michigan, she's a Democrat, said she's worked well with Portman, but the proof is in the pudding whether he can deliver on this infrastructure bill. Elizabeth Warren saying, I'll believe it when I see it. So there's a lot of skepticism whether or not this can get done. I had someone this morning in our chat before the show started say this Rockefeller agent. I don't know if Rockefeller's watching right now. He's not a channel member, but he said the 4th stimulus checks, $2,000 and recurring checks are coming. Why do you guys not talk about it? Are you okay? And to which I wrote back and said, Rockefeller, there are no 4th checks and there are no recurring checks coming. We don't talk about it because it's not true. Now, you can certainly go onto YouTube and you can find all sorts of clickbaity YouTube thumbnails and headlines from people that say, 4th stimulus checks are here. Good news. This is like a YouTube thumbnail with 4th stimulus checks. They're here.
Your eyes aren't your eyes aren't big enough. Your eyes need to be about 10 times bigger for that to really go.
I mean, I can literally just do a search for this right now, and I'm going to find a few just, wow, this is amazing. Look at this. Look at this just happened. Wow, this just happened. $2,000 stimulus. This one was published 12 hours ago. Wow, really? 4 stimulus checks coming today.
Yeah, that second one down, his hands aren't up.
Yeah.
How's he going to get views without his hands being up? There you go. That's the only way to do it.
Finally, look at this one. Finally, 4th stimulus check update today. Monthly 4th stimulus checks coming. Wow. Why? Yeah, new 4th stimulus checks. Cash payments called for. 4th stimulus checks. There is no 4th stimulus check. Stop saying that there is. There is not. Stop lying to these people. Then you get someone like this that says to me in the chat, hey, these 4th stimulus checks are coming. Why do you guys not talk about it? Are you okay? No, we're not going to spread lies about it. There is no 4th stimulus. It's not, they can't even agree on anything. And by the way, stimulus checks? No. Yes, there's been a petition for it. But they literally went from 1.5 trillion, which is what President Trump wanted. It's now at $500 billion on the table. And there are no stimulus checks in this infrastructure bipartisan negotiation. 0. So, hey, YouTubers out there, maybe you should stop lying to people. There are no 4th stimulus checks. I love this one.
I love it. That's like
no stimulus checks. Stop saying that there are. And you're really bothering. I mean, you're really hurting people too when you say this kind of crap. You know, it's like if there is any movement on it, and if there is actually any negotiations on it that actually bring it to the table, we will report it here. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it.
Well, there's just been so much like I don't know. It's like it's not going to happen because Wall Street's doing well. You know, so we're all doing
right.
fine. Everybody is fine right now because Wall Street is fine. We're okay.
Right. And when we get a little bit later in the story, in our rundown today, we're going to talk in the housing crisis. And, you know, again, that Wall Street issue is exactly why we're not seeing any movement on the housing front. I love in the chat, what is it? Someone said, Art Sullivan says, wow, finally, $2,000 a month stimulus checks. Thank you, Clayton, for that good news. Yeah, exactly. $2,000 stimulus checks coming today.
Yep. I'm actually personally signing them all right now. They're coming out of my account. Just don't deposit them right away. Just send me a text message before you do.
Wow, just happened. Wow, that just happened. Holy smokes, guys. Wow. Stimulus check delivery timeline, 4th stimulus check update. Next month, will we see the checks in August? And then here's mine. Here's my stimulus. Stimulus dead? That was literally my headline. That's actually more accurate than anything in this whole feed right here. Stimulus dead.
Why doesn't Joe Manchin have his hands up?
Should be. Stimulus dead?
I love it.
Yes, we got to grab attention, but don't lie to people. Yeah, here, look at this one. It's like, baby, what is this? Happened again. 4th stimulus check. Wow. Such crap.
I'd be surprised if we all got $20. I would be like, holy cow, they were able to pull that off like anything. No, that's not happening. Wall Street's doing too well.
Wall Street's doing great. So we're waiting on today. Today is a big day. We're going to see whether or not these negotiations last night from Senator Rob Portman and Steve Ricchetti of the White House, these are the two people driving the negotiations right now. And this is what it came down to last time. Like you had G10, you had the other players in this bipartisan talk, and they all sort of fall off. And now it's like literally it's Portman and the White House. That's it. It's funny how Mitch McConnell's not even involved in it. Chuck Schumer's not involved in it, and most of the G10 are not even involved in it at this point. They're just sort of going back to their camp. Like, we're trying to needle right now on the issue of transit, which to me, I cannot wrap my head around. You guys are okay spending billions of dollars on a military budget, but you're needling over the amount of money we're going to spend on buses and rail systems in the United States of America. which are falling apart. That's what you're literally arguing about at this stage. Transportation, buses and rail system. It's an infrastructure package, and that's what you're arguing over? Okay. So that's where we are on stimulus today, guys. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. You can also become a channel member by going to morninginvest.com/join, where you can stick it to the mainstream media and support independent journalism. We're able to bring you the stories that you won't see on any of the major billionaire-backed networks. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time, everyone.